Let's make it a good day.
Today on The Jason Show, is the Netflix dating hit Love is Blind headed to the Twin Cities? We have the clues. Then, American Dad, Family Guy, Sex and the City, comedian Craig Gass is everywhere, and today, he's here. And remember the Barbara Walters interview? Well, we now have the Ted Johnson interview. And for the debut, he's sitting down with the WWE legend. Oh boy. The Jason Show starts right now. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Let's make it a good day. Shall we? We shall. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Jason Show. I'm Jace. Thank you for being here. Oh, we got another lively audience today. I know. It's fine, Aaron. Don't worry about it. They can't stop the love because, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my sidekick sister, Kendall Mark, everybody. Hello. Let's get it out of the way right away.
Let's just acknowledge this.
Let's just acknowledge the fact that the top row in today's audience is, how do we say it? Problematic. Problematic, yeah.
Problematic.
No, they could be potential PP.
Yes, PP.
But potentially problematic. Who are they?
Well, first, it took my parents to get here. I love you, Mom and Dad. Wave, say hi, wave your hands. There you go.
That's the parents.
Because Ron and Jane Solly are here. Ron and Jane, wave. Hi. It's okay, Ron, you have to wave. There you go. So these have been family friends for decades, since I was a kid. When they moved to Alexandria from Red Wing, it was my first heartbreak, as I would describe it, because my best friend was their daughter, Stephanie, and I truly didn't think I'd be able to get out of my bed for like a month. I was in like second grade, so it's very dramatic. But we love them very much. I'm so happy that they could come down and hang out with us. We're gonna go to lunch after this. It's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Mom and Dad are here, so it's an exciting day.
Can we give them a little grief, though?
What?
Well, you've been on the show now. You've been on the show. The judge knows what I'm going to say. You've been on the show now since 2019.
Yeah.
So it took family friends coming in to get them to come in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to connect the dots as well. Yeah.
Yes. And they're like, well, we've come to the state fair, and I'm like, I know it's during the workday, Dad. You're retired now,
Yeah.
so now you have to come every day.
But here's the deal. But to be fair, Kendall's mom is on the show on occasion.
That's true.
There is, you know what I mean? So
she is.
She's kind of been here by one degree.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's been here, sort of.
And that man sitting there, Kendall's father, a big round of applause, retired judge right there.
There we
Yes. Yeah. So.
Watch out, we're in
rows
charge
1
now.
through 3 behave. That's right. Okay, now that I've been nice to you for 2 minutes.
Oh, God, okay.
I love that your family's here today because your brothers, all of your big brothers, because Kendall is surrounded by annoying big brothers.
You are not going to give away what happened yesterday, are you?
Audience, should I give away what happened yesterday? Yeah. So let me just, if you're new to us, Kendall is surrounded by annoying big brothers that she never asked for. Our entire staff are boys, giant boys, and we pick on our little sister. So,
it's true.
So yesterday, oh God, this was so good. Kendall, other than Kendall sets up stories for future episodes. So Kendall set up a story yesterday where on paper it seemed like a good idea. Brilliant idea. Let's have our crew go play laser tag against each other. Okay? Yeah.
People love laser tag.
So Ted and executive producer Jeff and me and Kendall, photographer Eric, we all get in our vans, our trucksters, and we head down to Bloomington to Whirly Ball to play this.
We love that place.
Photographer Eric has been there scouting for about what, Eric, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah. We all walk in, and Eric comes out of the room, and he looks at us, and this is one of my...
That wasn't my family. I just want to be clear.
Let's go ahead and answer that phone right now. Let's just go ahead and answer that right now. Aaron, answer that phone for her right now. Yes. Is it not ringing anymore?
Hung up on them.
She calls back, I'm answering that phone. I'm answering it. I love it. God, I love that. It's a telemarketer. Anyway, so we arrive at Whirly Ball, and photographer Eric comes out of the room, and he looks at us, and in 8 seasons, I've never heard, Eric comes from a place of yes, always. Yes. Always, right, Aaron? Comes from a place, I look at, this is photographer Eric. This isn't gonna work. And I went, why? And he goes, because it's dark in there. And Jeff goes, how dark? How dark?
Yeah.
And Eric goes, pitch black. He goes, you can't put pitch black room on television. We're not gonna be able to see you. So Kendall booked a shoot for us to put on television of the 5 of us standing in a dark room. That's right.
You're welcome.
But you'll find out how we actually did it in a future episode. But right now, let's worry about this episode. It's time for the hot dish. Roll it, Leo. Here we go. Oh God, that was great. First up, the new season of Love is Blind is real juicy, real juicy. And it features the newest reality show villain. Ladies and gentlemen, her name is it Irina? Irina. Look at this.
I told him that I had a date earlier today. I didn't tell him though, but I had a date with Josh. It's like, I just don't want to be with nobody but you. And I just couldn't end it because I just felt like I like Josh. I like Marshall, but Marshall told me he was in love with me and I didn't even know what to say.
What? My friend is hurting.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even see you there. Do you have a headache or is it men?
I just feel so bad that I hurt him.
So that's her right there smiling. That's her right there in the plaid smiling. And I don't know who the woman is with the fake tears. But anyway, Irina was the girl laughing. Micah was the blonde. Micah has apologized for her behavior as a mean girl. And Irina has not apologized. Netflix dropped the first 5 episodes last week, and the next drop will take place tomorrow. Now listen to this. We're also learning today, our spies have learned, that Netflix is casting the next season. And there are some rumblings that it might take place here in Minneapolis. But that is not confirmed. We do not know that. Now, you have to be able to basically not have a job from October to November this fall. So you have to either leave your job for an entire month, quit, or beg your boss to let you be on Love is Blind.
Call in sick for a month.
Call in sick for a month. Yeah.
Okay. Can I just say something?
Of course you can.
Because if we put it out in the universe, it might happen.
Yeah.
We do happen to have someone who helps out on the show when you're gone, named Pierre, who could possibly be on Love is Blind. His sister's trying to talk him into doing it. So Pierre texted me at 9 o'clock last night and was like, hey, should I be on Love is Blind? I'm like, what
yes!
So there are workings happening, and if it is happening in Minneapolis.
Addie, call him immediately. See if is he awake right now?
No, it's Pierre.
I'm going to read this next story. If he answers, put him on speakerphone and come over here and hand me the phone. Because we want Pierre. We're going to get Pierre. We want Pierre on that show. Absolutely. He's good looking.
It'd be so funny.
He's funny. It's football season.
Oh, he'll call in sick.
Wait. Yeah, they won't let him off. He's a sports guy.
Oh, man.
Mim won't let him off.
Mim and Kelly,
I'll fill in for him in the sports department. Yeah.
They're definitely not going to let him off then.
That guy ran over there. Ooh. I love your uniforms.
Oh.
Is he answering? Come here. It's Pierre, everybody. Thank you, love. Hi, Pierre.
Hello.
By the way, I have to legally tell you so you won't sue me. You're on the air right now.
That's okay. Well, you should have called me 2 minutes ago because I already called my lawyer. So.
Pierre, I'm here with the studio audience, the audience at home that knows they love you when you fill in, and we all want you to audition to be on Love is Blind. Listen to that.
No way.
What?
No way. No way. Have you seen this show?
Yes, I've seen the show.
I watched the first episode of that show yesterday, and I almost threw my laptop across the room.
Okay, we're gonna work on you. Bye, Pierre. There we go. It's Pierre, everybody. There we go, Addie. Thank you, love. He has to do it.
That's why he'd be so good.
He has a job. I know, but again, I'll fill in. I'll call him. I'll tell him
No,
I'll fill in.
that is not going to help, Jason.
You
that will
can
make
fill
the
in your
case
sporty
worse.
spice. You know about sports.
We'll figure it out. We could do sports together.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
People would tune in.
People would tune in just for the car wreckness of it. Yeah. Anyway, we have a lot more to come. Stay right there. Back after this. Back in a moment.
Throw it out there.
I'm calling them. Don't forget to get tickets to our show. Download the Eventbrite app and search for The Jason Show.
Pierre.
Oh, God, I love our job. Welcome back. Chris Pine and Hugh Grant were on with Corden last night, and the three participated. This is probably going to be one of the last times they do this. One of our favorite late night bits, spill your guts or fill your guts, and that is our late night rewind.
What is your least favorite Chris Pine movie?
I love Chris. And I've come to regard him as a great, great film star and actor. My problem is I only really watch tennis. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
What is your least favorite Hugh Grant movie?
See, I can't do it. I can't do it to you. You were in, were you in You Got Mail? Were you in that?
It's not in You Got Mail.
Well, if you're wondering, so if you're like, oh, I wonder what they were drinking and eating. So let me tell you, Hugh Grant had to drink Vienna sausage ale, and Chris just nibbled on some cattle testicles. Stephanie Hansen will be doing that tomorrow. Yeah. We got to totally steal that idea when Corden goes off the air. Our hot dish now continues with our insider to the stars from the Hollywood Raw podcast. Welcome the beautiful and talented Dax Holt, everyone.
Oh, good morning, Jason. Good morning, audience.
Hi, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. How's everyone out there?
Good. How's the weather in beautiful California?
It's raining.
Yeah, I read yesterday in the USA of Today, you guys have had like 7 trillion gallons of rainwater.
It has been nonstop, but you know we needed it out here. But no, it's for me. I like the change of weather. You know, you get used to 70 all year round. It's nice to have a little rain sometimes, Jason.
Yeah, okay, the audience just turned on you. But anyway, you had this week on the podcast, who did you have, my friend?
We had a photographer. His name is Wagner on. I love when we have these like paparazzi episodes. They are so fun, and like you just get a little peek inside a world that you have no idea about. And it's really, I think, the essence of our podcast, which is like kind of pulling back the curtain of Hollywood. So Wagner comes on. we're talking to him. He is one of the guys that works on the Kardashians like every single day. He knows everything about them. They know him. So it kind of let us down. Like, what is it like when your main focus in life is the Kardashians? And so he said, who's your favorite Kardashian to film? Who's your least favorite Kardashian to film? Who gives you the most? So we got through all of that. But where he really piqued my interest was he was talking, we said also, what's the photo set that's like really made you either the most money or you've been most excited about? And he said, a couple years ago, I got those photos of Taylor Swift on the beach with Tom Hiddleston when he was wearing the I Love TS shirt. Do you remember these photos?
I do remember
and
that.
They were huge. It was probably one of the biggest photo sets of, the last decade. And he was the one that shot him, and I had absolutely no idea. And we got into it, and he didn't even know of all the celebs that were in the photos that day until he got back and he started editing. He was like, I was trying to take photos of Taylor, but then he realized that Carly Kloss was there, that Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, she had so many people out on the beach that this became a massive, massive photo shoot. But he then got into the background of how long he had to wait to get those photos, because this was like a whole 4th of July party that she had like over multiple days. And he would go down to the beach and literally hang out all day long for numerous days. And the little like tricks and things that he did to basically trick her security into thinking that he was just a normal person and not a photographer. I mean, really a fascinating episode if you like kind of hearing the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh my, I would not have that patience. I would not be able, no.
It apparently worked out really, really well for him at the end of the day.
Well, enjoy your rainy weather. We're very sorry to hear about that.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not at all. Dax Holt, everybody. Find this episode and subscribe to the Hollywood Raw podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Let's move on. Next in the dish, my friends, Jennifer Aniston. She's making the rounds thanks to Murder Mystery 2 with Sandler on Netflix. So there's a new interview out where she admitted, maybe admitted's a little strong, but she said, look, Friends may not be suitable for today's primetime audiences, at least some episodes. So the show has long been criticized for its lack of diversity. It only had 2 short-lived recurring characters of color. She says, look, comedy has evolved, and now you have to be careful. People are more sensitive about that. She talked about how back in the day, you could joke about a bigot and laugh because it was ridiculous. But now that kind of humor is off limits. I have said this before in different ways. BuzzFeed basically makes a business out of this where they take old stuff, they put it in front of us for us to be outraged about and judge it in 2023 glasses. You can't take something from it started in 94. Mm-hmm. You can't take old pop culture and watch it in our lenses now and judge it the same way. You can analyze it, but I just think it's unfair because art lives within the space and time that it was created. And what was funny back then, like let's for instance, talking when Jennifer said the bigot thing, that was All in the Family. All in the Family was created. All in the Family was created by Norman Lear to what? To laugh at the bigotry. Archie said horrendous things. It wasn't meant to bravo Archie. Archie was surrounded by family that laughed at his bigotry. Now, there would be no nuanced view of All in the Family. People would just go, oh my God, we can't do this. Did you hear what he said? No. Think about what we're watching. Now, Friends isn't All in the Family. Let's be clear. And I'm only saying this because of the discussion. Fat Monica just wasn't funny. I don't like those jokes. I didn't like them back then, and I don't like them now. The portrayal of Chandler's dad as Kathleen Turner, problematic. But I mean, canceling the show, or you can't. It existed, and now we can. As Maya, when you know better, you knew, but when you know better, you do better. We've done better.
Well,
Yeah.
she also says now we need humor more than ever. She's like, and comedians oftentimes are afraid to say so many things because they're afraid of the backlash that they'll get too. They're like, she said, sometimes, yes, of course, rightfully so, but in other times, everybody just needs to calm down a little bit and stop being so sensitive. So, and It's true. Sometimes we can be real sensitive about things that we're like, okay.
I had to stop going to BuzzFeed so much because they really
Yes.
do. They'll pull up old tweets and it's like, okay, we have literally, we all know this, we have enough to be outraged
Right.
about other than worrying about
Everything's
friends.
going on, okay?
Dolly Parton songs and anyway, just give
Who
me
doesn't like Dolly?
a place in Wisconsin doesn't. Next into the dish. Google it, you'll know what I mean. There was another big reveal on The Masked Singer last night. The Moose was the
Woo!
Every time I read this, the Moose was the last celebrity to be unmasked. And before we tell you who it is, here's the Moose.
They say that only love is fair. Yeah, but you don't care. 'Cause you know what you do when it takes hold of you. And with a little help from above.
Okay. Guesses included John Goodman, Benjamin Netanyahu, John Lovitz, and Ed O'Neill. But in the end, it was George Wendt from Cheers. Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah, there he is. Norm. Yeah. By the way, thank you. This is you guys are so nice. I must have received 7 messages last night on Twitter or DMing. I get Charlene Tilton, little Lucy Ewing from Dallas was on last night on Masked Singer. People, because you know I love Dallas, it was very sweet. I gotta go watch it, but I guess she gave a clue or something. Little Lucy, yeah. Anyway, and programming note, we were just told, Kendall and I know nothing about this.
Yeah, nothing.
I guess tomorrow we're doing some sort of big Masked Singer event here on the Jason Show. Yeah.
Are we singing?
No, they're not going to tell us anything. We have to guess.
Oh,
yeah.
we have to guess who the Masked Singers are?
Yeah.
You know I'm going to be so bad at this.
No, you'll be great.
So bad at this. Don't
You'll be
pity
great.
Me. Don't humor
You're
me.
great at everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really
I'm
good
being
at
very
this.
nice, top row.
Okay.
Time to meet our JVIP of the day. Today we have 2. First, Patricia Olson from Bloomington. Hi, Patricia. She says the show always leaves her with a smile on her face and feeling better about the world. Patricia says our show could be a little dangerous to her health because she watches at noon here locally and could end up choking from all the laughing. Oh, well, Pat, be careful. Next is Torgy Ziegler from Toma. Wisconsin. I've driven through Toma many times. She says the show makes her morning special. Torgy likes that I laugh at my mistakes and enjoy life. Well, she calls Kendall adorable with her laugh, passion, and wit. Torgy says that the show provided a friend in a lonely office that is much needed during the pandemic. Well, thank you, Torgy. Thank you. Well, both get a Jason Show mug. They're both entered to win the monthly grand prize. That includes being a VIP guest in our audience, a $150 gift card to Becker Furniture World, and a $150 gift card to our newest sponsor, the Institute of Advanced Aesthetics. That's right. They're aesthetics and they're advanced. We'll be right back in a moment. Coming up in just a little bit, 2 very different interviews. First, you remember him as one of Charlotte's more unique suitors on Sex and the City. Our friend, comedian Craig Gass is live in our studio. And then the debut of the Ted Johnson interview. Today, our fearless show producer is sitting down for a dramatic one-on-one with a WWE legend. That and more when we come back. Welcome back. Our buddy's back. Well, odds are you know our next guest by his voice, his face as well. He's voiced characters on TV shows like Family Guy and American Dad, and also acted in a very memorable episode of Sex and the City. Now, I said he was Charlotte's. It was Miranda's suitor. Let's just correct that. This weekend, though, we'll be performing at the New Hope Cinema Grill here in the Twin Cities. Welcome back to the show, comedian Craig Gass, everybody. Hi, buddy.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited because that last segment you were doing, it was just like gossip, and I love gossip. Like if I walk into a Starbucks and I see the baristas like giggling to each other, I go, "Oh, are we gossiping? What are we gossiping about? I want to know. Like, is it about that chick over there? I want to gossip about her. Like I love gossip. Gossip.
I was watching. It was don't laugh. It was like a David Sedaris masterclass. You know that masterclass thing? And he was talking about how his secret of writing is not being on his phone all the time, just observing. And I'm sure as a comic, there's content there's comment. If you look right there, there's content, right there, yeah. But
if I'm on a plane and a couple in front of me is fighting, I'm like, I want to know what's going on. Yeah, that's.
Have you ever turned around something that quick? Like you're on a plane and you land. Have you turned around some content? Have you changed a set because something? I just never asked this before. Have you turned something around that quick?
Yeah, if something happens to me that's really funny in a moment, I'll talk about it on stage right then. Or sometimes in the middle of a show, something will happen right there. And sometimes
like a phone ringing in the front row?
Yeah, or something. I mean, I don't know why, but I'm thinking about this comedian that opened for me in Oklahoma City recently, and this show took a left turn, where he was on stage, and he kept looking over on the left side of the stage. He kept something was distracting him over here, and he finally went, "Ma'am, am I that ugly that you won't even look me in the face?" I mean, she won't even look me in the face. Like, what are you, blind or something? And he goes, "Oh, are you blind?" And then the whole room froze. And he made the biggest mistake by trying to go back into his set. He goes, "Oh, so you guys ever go to Walmart?" And the whole crowd went, "Who cares about Walmart? You just made fun of a blind woman." And he's like, I'm sorry. Oh. Nobody was laughing except me and two other comedians in the back of the room going, "This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing." So, yeah.
Oh, I'm uncomfortable just hearing that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I've always known that it's okay to make jokes because you know how I grew up. I'm a comedian who's known for doing voices. And I've always been able to do any voice that I hear because of how I grew up. And this is not a joke. This is a true story. Everyone in my family is deaf.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad, and my sister are all completely deaf. I always feel everybody tense up when I say that. And and it's funny because people get sensitive. Meanwhile, and this is the truth, the most insensitive and the most outrageous deaf jokes I've ever heard were from deaf people, my own deaf people.
Your own family.
Like a few years ago, I threw a surprise birthday party for my sister, and you can argue that anything to deaf people is a surprise. But I threw a surprise birthday party. Like, "What are you doing here?" "I've been here for 4 hours. You're deaf." I threw a surprise birthday party for my sister. Afterwards, we all sit down for dinner, and my sister is sitting across the table from me, and she's deaf. She's signing to me, and she goes, "Do you want to hear a good joke?" And I said, "Sure." And then she said, "Me too." What? So,
bravo to your sister on that one.
Yeah. But growing up in a deaf family, I couldn't learn how to talk from my family. I learned how to talk by copying all the voices I heard on TV. And I never got an accent from the Bronx.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I'm from the Bronx. Everyone in the Bronx sounds like Tracy Morgan. "Everybody in the Bronx talk like this, whether you black or white. Male or female, that's crazy. Hey, this is the voice of your next door neighbor, and I'm a Vietnamese girl. That's crazy." Everybody sounded like that. So growing up, the weirder the voice, the easier it was for me to do it. Like Christopher Walken had a real stop and go kind of voice where he'll talk every once in a while. He'll stop, and then he'll keep going. Or Adam Sandler, "Who's that very silly shibby-doo, hee-hoo." So that became this thing that I could do where I could mimic people's voices, and that led me to radio, and then TV, and then voiceover.
Well, we got more at the other end, but I want to tee up here. You're back with working with Stern.
Yeah.
How was that?
For the first time in 20 years, I auditioned to be Howard's sidekick in 2001. They narrowed it down to me and Artie Lang. Artie got the job, and I started getting acting jobs. And then a year and a half ago, he reached out and said, would you ever want to work on the show again? And we've been developing ideas, and they're starting to put, last week I sat in on the show for a week, and I'm just sitting on the sidelines as celebrities saying awful stuff. Anything that's in the news, we'll put it on the show. Like, I remember when I first started working on the show, Al Pacino had twins, even though Al Pacino was 6,700 years old.
Yeah.
And I said, and I came up with an idea, like, how funny would it be if we could have one of his babies on the show, and the baby sounds just like Al Pacino? Wouldn't that be great? And we did this regular segment where Howard said, man, you are Al Pacino's baby. What do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun? I like to pee. You like to pee? I love to pee.
Yeah, it was terrible. The whole idea was just ridiculous, and that's what we're doing more of now. Somebody's in the news, I'll learn their voice, I'll jump on and I'll do it, and it's so much fun. That's the whole show in New Hope this weekend. Is just impressions and stories about people who I do impressions of, and there's something special I'm doing in the show that I want to tell you about on the next break. That
Craig knows TV. He knows I have to take a break. By the way, if you want info now, if you have to go run, do some errands, you should stay and watch. But if you can't, check out Craig at the New Hope Cinema Grill this weekend. Head to cinemagrill.com for tickets, and you can follow him on Instagram if you're watching from our other cities. Craig Gass Comedy. We'll be right back. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Glad you're here, my friends.
Me too.
Craig's back.
You know, I could have walked across the street. I was so tempted. I have a bathrobe. Every time I stay here, my favorite hotel is right across the street, the Hyatt Place. And I wanted to walk over here in a bathrobe with a toothbrush. And I was like, how funny would it be if I just walked over? But only because of the weather. It was only because of the weather. But I'm always at the Hyatt Place because it's my favorite place to stay. And it's right across the street from me.
Can I tell you, Lewis Black, and I hope you like. Do you?
I
like
love Lewis Black.
Lewis, I just told the story because people always ask, "What's that person like?"
Yeah.
You know, Lewis, I always credit. You're one of them where, and you comedians don't walk in with big entourages. I was hearing Chris Rock talk about that. Anyway, Lewis would come in here, Craig. No joke. He was here about 4 times over the years. That man would walk in here every time with nothing but a big gulp from a gas station. Just like the biggest damn cup you've ever seen.
I love that.
And he would walk in just with a coat, a ratty coat. And he'd walk in, hey, Jace, hi. And he'd put his Biggie cup down and start talking. It did crack me up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chappelle's the same way. I know that Chappelle showed up at an Anderson Cooper interview, and Anderson talked to him for an hour and said, I just want to point out that we've had a lot of people on my show over the years. You're the only person who showed up not only without an entourage, but you showed up at our back door on a skateboard. I love that about him.
You mentioned before the break, and if you're new to our show, I love Howard. Howard tried to call me once, and I rolled him into voicemail. Don't get me started on that. But anyway,
amazing story.
But tell the folks what you teed it up before we went to break.
Yeah, I've been doing celebrity voices on Howard now again, and we just take people in the news, and I'll learn an impression of them, and then I'll put it on. And again, I grew up in a deaf family, so it's easy for me to do voices because that's how I learned how to speak. And I'll get these homework assignments all the time, and then my process is when I think I'm getting close, I will call my friends that I grew up with in New York and test it out on them. And then my friends are very critical to me, as they should be.
Yeah.
Because they love me and they're trying to help me. But I'll test it out on them, and I'll get like I don't. It doesn't sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'll get really defensive, and I'll go, dude, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger after a bad car accident.
Yeah.
And I'll only say that so I can get away with something really lame, like, it's not Arnold. Dude, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger after a bad car accident with COVID. Shut up.
Yeah,
Like there's some voices that for some reason I just can't. Like I can't do a Mark Wahlberg impression. But I gave up and just said, you know what? This is not Mark Wahlberg. This is something I call out of breath Mark Wahlberg. Did you hear that? That was the sound of your expectations lowering. And rightfully so, because out of breath Mark Wahlberg. Can I do it on this camera? All right, out of breath Mark Wahlberg was like, by the way, this might sound ridiculous. I can teach you how to do that impression.
Really?
Yes. It's heavy breathing. That's half the impression. And the other half is you got to say just a few words at a time, but the words have to be distressful. Because for some reason, Mark Wahlberg's always stressed out. So heavy breathing, few words at a time. This is the whole Mark Wahlberg impression. Guys, are you serious? There's a car accident outside. You gotta help me get the bodies out. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in a car accident.
Okay, before we go, you got to do, because it's our producer's favorite. Can you do a little TV safe Tom Arnold?
Yeah, TV Save Tom Arnold, which I do at the Super Bowl every year. At the beginning of the week for the Super Bowl, nobody famous is in town yet, and my radio friends will say, can you join us as somebody famous so that it sounds cool back to the town we're broadcasting to? And the only remotely sports guy I can do an impression of is Tom Arnold, because he used to host the Best Damn Sports Show, period. And I will be full-blown Tom Arnold on the air going, hey guys, Tom Arnold here. And a lot of celebrities are coming into town for the Super Bowl. Man, I was actually at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting last night with Brett Favre. I probably shouldn't say that loud. Brett Favre's a big cokehead, and his sponsor is, believe it or not, Bob Costas. Man, does that guy love NyQuil? And I'll just start naming random sports people, and then Tom Arnold would get killed by the internet every year by people going, it's supposed to be anonymous. What are you doing? Yeah. And by the way, the shows this weekend, I'm going to talk a lot about the first person I ever loved. My mom. My mom, unfortunately, she got sick last year and she passed away. And there was so much she left me with. My mom was the original gossip queen. And she loved gossip. And, you know, the thing about sign language is there's no room for political correctness in sign language. And but she loved gossip. On November 9th, the day before she passed, everyone was telling me, like, get a moment, say something to her, tell her you love her. And I didn't know if I was going to have a moment. She opened her eyes on November 9th and went, and I walked over and I said, what's wrong? And I'm quoting, this is the last thing my mother ever said to me. She went, did you see that Tom Brady and Giselle are getting divorced? And I went, is this a Make-A-Wish? Like, what are we, like, I didn't know, like, yeah.
That was it?
That was the last thing she ever said to me. Like, God, yeah. Well, you come out to New Hope Cinemas this weekend. There are amazing stories about impressions, people I do impressions of, and stories about how much I love my mom.
The best. Craig, everybody. Don't miss this weekend. Go, go, go. New Hope Cinema Grill. Head to cinemagrill.com and Craig's website, getgas.com. Give it up for Craig, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thank you, buddy.
Craig. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. If you have a wrestling fan in your life, they may go dark this weekend. WrestleMania 39 kicks off, and producer Ted chatted with WWE legend Rey Mysterio about the big event. And that means it's time to debut our brand new segment, Ted Johnson, The Interview.
Hey, Ray, how's it going?
Very good, Ted. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good. Hey, so big weekend coming up. But first of all, congrats, WWE Hall of Famer. You're going to be inducted this weekend. What's that going to be like?
Man, just the word Hall of Famer sounds so surreal. It still hasn't sunk in. I don't think it'll really sink in, for the amount of years that I have left performing. But it's awesome, man. It's really incredible. I always said I hope one day I get to be part of the legends that are in the Hall of Fame. And now here I am, a week away from enjoying that moment.
Ray, what do you credit? Look, it's a rough and tumble sport. What do you credit your longevity to?
I would have to say this is my passion and my love for the sport. I was speaking to my daughter yesterday about my speech for the Hall of Fame, and I was giving her stories that she might not have heard of at all, up until last night. And the passion I've had for this business and for this sport from day one has been always, the biggest passion I've had to ever want to do something. So I think I would have to say that is my longevity, the passion and the love I have for this.
WrestleMania this weekend, for people who don't know, WrestleMania, basically the Super Bowl of wrestling. And tell us, who are you wrestling this weekend, Ray?
Well, it was a unknown match as of last week. Now it is confirmed. I will face my son for the very first time. Keep in mind that my son and I were tag team champions just a year and a half ago, wrestled as a tag team last year at WrestleMania in Dallas. And now here we are facing each other. I believe besides Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, this is the first ever father and son match happening at WrestleMania. So it is pretty exciting. It's emotional. It's a roller coaster ride for me. And I believe this story that has been laid out ever since late last year, is very relatable to a daily life, in a family of an ordinary family.
So I imagine it's going, I don't know if you get nervous before wrestling matches, but I imagine if your son's involved, that ratchets up the nerves a little bit more.
Let me give you a perspective of me being the dad. And my son has been in this business for a little bit over 3 years, has been in training a very short amount of time. And once he took this opportunity to wrestle for the first time, I was more nervous than me wrestling for the first time, because you want your kids to do good, in life in general. But yes, my nerves are horrible right now. My anxiety is horrible, but I think it's something that I've always been able to deal with, when the time comes. I love working under pressure.
Ray, for the folks who don't know wrestling, they're probably looking at you. They're like, "Oh, this guy's got a mask on." So I'm curious, because you're performing in your mask. You're always in your mask. When you take your mask off and you go, say, to the grocery store, do you get recognized?
On occasions, I do. And that is always by the hardcore fanatic. And believe it or not, if I'm not wearing a mask and somebody recognizes me and they break down and say, "Ray, I've been watching you since I was a kid." And sometimes it's even beautiful to hear that they've been watching as a kid and now they have their own kids hooked watching WWE and Rey Mysterio. So I always take the picture with them. And they're like, "Are you sure it's okay?" "Yes, it's okay. Thank you." At one point in my...
Catch WrestleMania this weekend on Peacock. That has been the Ted Johnson interview, the first and last time. We'll be right back in a moment. Oh, Theodore. Family. Remember, you can sign up to be in our audience. Go to eventbrite.com and search for The Jason Show. You'll get a reminder and everything. And remember...
only pick a day you can actually make it.
We'll be right back in a moment. tomorrow, my latest best thing ever. A cake decorating woman you gotta meet. That is tomorrow. But right now, I want you to go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day, right, Kendall?
Right.
Bye, everybody.